So let's talk about prop firm rules. Are they just a trap designed to make you fail, or are they a real test of your trading skill? It's a question every single one of us is asked, usually right after that heartbreaking email lands in our inbox. Today, we're going to dig into the real reason behind those frustrating rules, and, more importantly, how you can actually use them to your advantage and get that payout. Let's dive in.
Ah, man, this one hurts. That dreaded email notification. You were in profit, you felt like you were finally getting it, everything was going great, and then, boom, account terminated. It just feels so unfair, so random, and you're left just staring at the screen thinking, what did I even do wrong?
And look, this isn't just some hypothetical situation. This is a real quote from a real trader. And it's a story you see plastered all over forums every single day. Someone grinds it out, they hit their profit target, they go to get that payout they earned, and they get a big fat no. It's easy to scream scam, but what if there's something else going on? Something much, much bigger. Okay, to really get this, we have to flip the script for a second. We have to look at the market from the firm's point of view. See, they're not really sweating your $100 loss. They are terrified of two very specific events, two nightmares that can literally wipe them off the map overnight. And let's be super clear about this. This has nothing to do with pinching pennies or trying to catch you on a technicality. This is about pure, unadulterated survival. Those rules that drive you crazy, they're the only thing standing between the firm's entire bankroll and complete and utter bankruptcy. So here's nightmare number one. Picture it. Non-farm payrolls is about to drop, or maybe the FOMC is making an announcement. In literally 3 seconds, the market can just explode, gapping hundreds of pips. Your stop loss? It's useless. It doesn't get filled where you set it, it gets filled way, way worse. That's called slippage. And when that happens across hundreds of trader accounts all at once, it's a total catastrophe for the firm. And nightmare number two, this one happens when the market isn't even open. A war could break out on a Saturday. A major political crisis could unfold on a Sunday. And when the market opens again on Monday morning, it doesn't just pick up where it left off. Nope, it gaps open, completely leaping over every single stop loss that was in its way. This can cause devastating damage to the firm's capital before a single person can even react. And this isn't just theory, you guys. This quote comes from a trader who was in the market when a surprise mad cow disease announcement hit. The market gapped so hard that his stop loss was basically ignored. His expected loss was multiplied by 7. Now just imagine that happening to 1,000 accounts all at the same time. That's the exact risk these firms are trying to avoid at all costs. So, when you think about those two terrifying nightmares, all those rules suddenly start to make a whole lot of sense, right? They're not there to trip you up. They're shields. They are defensive weapons designed specifically to protect the firm's capital from those killer risks. Let's break down exactly how they work. So you've got the threat of insane news volatility. What's the shield? It's that 5-minute trading ban around high-impact news. You can't open or close trades in that window. Even if your take profit gets hit 1 minute after the news drops, it's a violation. Why? Because during those moments, prices and liquidity are totally unreliable. The firm is basically saying, we are not playing that game. They're taking that risk completely off the table. And what about the threat of a massive weekend gap? Well, the shield is just as simple and just as direct. You can't hold trades over the weekend, period. All positions have to be closed by Friday afternoon. It doesn't matter if you're up or down. The firm needs a clean slate every single Monday, with absolutely zero exposure to whatever might happen in the world over those 2 days. And yeah, that means you have to be ruthlessly disciplined about it. Okay, so the rules are logical. They make sense from a risk management perspective. But if they're so logical, why do so many of us break them? Well, the answer isn't in some complex market theory. It's actually inside our own heads. It's about how our brains are literally wired to make terrible decisions when we're under pressure. And this right here is the absolute key. It's called prospect theory. And basically, it says that the pain of losing $100 feels way, way worse than the pleasure of winning $100. We hate losing so much more than we enjoy winning. And because of this loss aversion, we'll do crazy, irrational things, like taking on huge risks just to avoid locking in a small, definite loss. And in trading, that is an absolute recipe for disaster. And here's exactly how that plays out. Think about it. Why would you hold a losing trade into the Friday close, violating the rules? Because you're hoping it'll turn around, just so you don't have to feel the pain of closing it for a loss. Why do people revenge trade after a few losses? They're trying to win it all back in one shot to erase that painful feeling.
In all of these cases, it's your own psychology directly battling against the very rules that are there to protect you. The legendary trader Paul Tudor Jones put it perfectly. He said, "The most important rule of trading is to play great defense, not great offense." See, winning this game isn't about hitting home runs on every trade. It's about protecting what you have. And these prop farm rules, they force you to play defense, even when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to go all in on some risky emotional play.
So, what's the deal? If the rules are smart, but our brains are wired to break them, how does anyone actually make it? Well, the traders who get those consistent payouts, they don't fight the system. They do the complete opposite. They build their entire trading business around the rules.
Here it is, the blueprint. And it's not some secret sauce. Step 1, you have to know the rules like the back of your hand. No excuses. Step 2, you define your own risk limits, like a daily loss limit, that fits safely inside the firm's rules. Step 3, you build your trading plan, treating those rules as solid, unbreakable walls. Don't try to get clever. And finally, step 4, the hardest part of all. You execute that plan with cold, hard discipline, no matter what your emotions are telling you to do.
You know, this is the mindset shift that changes everything. Are you coming to the screen every day to execute a business plan with a clear, repeatable process? Or are you just pulling the handle on a slot machine hoping to get lucky? Because those prop firm rules, they're basically a filter designed to find the business owners and kick the gamblers to the curb. So that's the real question you have to ask yourself. Are you building a serious trading business? Or are you just playing the lottery and hoping your number comes up? Because in the end, the rules aren't a trap. They're the price of admission to play with somebody else's money. And the second you stop seeing them as restrictions and start seeing them as the actual foundation for your business, well, that's when everything changes.